Man, apparently players still don't like Steph Curry in 2024, in big 2024. This is a video from MJ. Shout out to friend of the show, MJ. Released a video called Why Players Still Don't Like Stephen Curry. Who doesn't like Stephen Curry?
Amidst the NBA playoffs, one take got lost in the noise. A take that was so, you know what? I'll let you decide.
Steph is not a generational talent. Generational means you can't mimic it. Can you mimic Magic Johnson? 6'9" point guard with the vision? No. You can't mimic Shaquille O'Neal's body.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Generational is something that's once every 20.
Yeah.
I am perplexed.
You thought you could get this off during the playoffs and no one would notice? Think again. Old heads still don't like Curry. Heck, even some current players don't like Curry. Even after he proved he could carry a team. I think.
Do y'all think Stephen Curry is generational? Because I've had this discussion on the pod a decent amount of times. I think when you think of talent, you're thinking of God-given abilities that you can't really train yourself to do, right? So LeBron James's athleticism, Michael Jordan's athleticism, Victor Wembanyama's physical gifts, the fact that KD is 6'11" with a jump shot. There still really hasn't been a KD since KD has come into the league. And when you look at Steph Curry, at the end of the day, he is a 6'2", 6'3" point guard with outwardly shooting abilities, but the ability to shoot the ball is something you can technically work on. It's a skill that you can train. My only thing is that when it comes to Steph Curry's shooting ability, this is something that I feel like is so impactful on the court. On top of his other skills in combination with his shooting ability, that Steph Curry has a talent. I don't think we're ever going to see another Steph Curry. For real. To have the range that Steph Curry got, to shoot the way Curry shoots in terms of percentages, the combination of what Stephen Curry is, I don't think we'll ever see anything like that. So I do think Stephen Curry is a generational talent. And also the hand-eye coordination that Steph Curry got, which is a big part as to why like his shooting is the way that it is. I don't know if that's truly like something you can just train. You may just be born with that. I don't know, bro.
I think it's the idea that what Steph does seems to be attainable. Trae Young was supposed to be the next Steph Curry, and that hasn't went according to plan. But sure, he doesn't have a team around him. Heck, Dame has the same capabilities, right? And when Curry didn't have all the All-Stars, Curry roasted him. It's why Steph at times seems more relatable to NBA fans than a LeBron who at 6'8", 250 pounds with a 40+ inch vertical, or Jordan who could palm the ball and float in the air.
Give it to me, just give it.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Steph is just the small guy fighting the freaks of nature. He's the best player ever that is 6'3" and under.
The breaks. Oh my goodness!
As many people have said, that is until you realize that he's a freak of nature too, just not in the traditional sense. Every time we compare Steph, especially in terms of dominance, it's always against players that are 6'6" and above. Magic Johnson, LeBron James, even KD. Guys who could power through, get the ball in the low block ISO, shoot over you like Shaq. In fact, when we think generational for athletes, we typically think of physical athleticism first. But what Steph has done screams the same dominance done differently. And it's time we change the preconceived notion in the wildcard video for the week. What is up, dudes to that Ballers Players? It's your boy MJ. Steph does things in a different way. Once off screens, he makes defenders forget where they are. He has the defense in a panic all the way to half court. Heck, in college, he was doubled for an entire game even when he didn't have the ball.
Hey, yo.
The mental pressure Curry puts just by being on the floor is exhausting. The quick shot, meaning your closeout being useless, is exhausting. Curry has faced double and triple teams while other stars got single coverage, and he still was averaging over 25 points per game in the finals. Dominance without being physical. This is some generational hand-eye coordination, of course cultivated by hard work. And Steph has what other typical players only have one elite attribute of.
Help me.
Catch and shoot, off-ball movement, shooting off dribble, handles, corner three, pick and roll, finishing. But his peers haven't necessarily shown him respect. Like during...
So I guess that's the ultimate point in this is, if your claim to fame is something that I can work on. Doesn't matter how long I take, I can work on it. Does that make you generational? Then I would tell you, Kevin Durant, I feel like physically, Kevin Durant is a 7-footer that doesn't have a lot of weight on him. But I feel like the thing that separates him, kind of similar to Steph Curry, is his skill at his height. You know what I'm saying? So you can technically, any 7-footer with the build of KD can technically work on the skills KD has. So at that point, is KD not generational? Maybe that's a bad argument. Let me know in the comment section down below. But I feel like when I think of generational talent, I'm thinking of guys who define eras, guys who define stages of basketball history, guys who you will be really, really hard pressed to find another, in not only just in the next generation, but in your lifetime, to find someone who fits the mold of this guy. And Steph Curry is definitely one of those. Because even in the near future, I don't think there's any prospect coming into the league that people are truly comparing to Steph. I think the closest one was Trae Young. And Trae Young is still elite, but in terms of like Trae Young is not the off-ball mover that Steph Curry is. He's not the shooter that Steph Curry is. He is a better passer than Steph Curry, but at that point, we may be talking about a completely different player. So
In the 2016 playoffs, after Curry is the first unanimous MVP, Durant and Westbrook were asked about Curry as an underrated defender, and
do you think that he's underrated as a defender?
I mean, getting steals, I don't know if that's just, that's a part of playing defense. But,
look at Russ.
you know, he's pretty good, but he doesn't guard the best point guards.
damn, this isn't gonna come back to bite.
Oh no.
No skill at all.
Even though Curry was defending better than the rest of the team on average, and more importantly, why provoke the best player on the other team? Because you don't respect him even after a record-breaking season. And Steph cooked them. Came back from down 3-1, but it's not a small sample size. If we take a look at the average number of threes by year from 2010, you'll see the massive explosion. Before Steph Curry got into the league, the highest number of threes in a season by a single player was Ray Allen at 269. But since Steph's 2014 explosion, now Ray Allen's season is only 24th of all time. You'll see Buddy Hield a few times, Dante DiVincenzo's recent season, Dame. There's only 2 times that a player has hit over 300 threes in this season. Klay Thompson.
Which is crazy because I'm gonna be honest, there was a point in recent history chat where I honestly just did not know what the record was. But I remember playing 2K for a decent amount of my childhood and knowing the single season 3-point record was 269. And once you cross 269, you got the record. Ever since Curry really blew up, I don't know what the record is anymore. Cause apparently Ray Allen is now 24th on the list in terms of regular season shooting. Guys like Buddy Hield are breaking it pretty like Dante DiVincenzo just broke it last season.
Thompson and James
Not
Harden.
special anymore,
And oh yeah, Steph 5 times. He actually has 5 of the top 6 spots. That isn't a single season of excellence, that is sustained regardless if he was teammates with KD or not. Greatness to me is how much better you are than your competition, your contemporaries. In 2016, Curry not only made the most threes, he also shot 12% better than league average for real true shooting percentage. And as an added bonus, per ESPN, in 2016, Curry averaged more fourth quarter points per 48 minutes than any player of the 21st century, including LeBron and Kobe Bryant. You're telling me that someone is going to come around that is going to be that much better than the league at shooting? Anything is possible, but maybe not. Also, I was hacked twice this week. The channel was taken over, but we fought hard and We're
Shout
back.
out- shout out to
All
MJ for
my
getting his
videos
channel, man.
were private,
Getting
so
his channel back,
I
man.
need y'all's help in getting my videos back in the algorithm. But through it all, I realized that y'all deserve more content and more truth. You see Kobe right there? We're not giving up, so I'm gonna be posting more on IG, TikTok, and Twitter, giving y'all content that you just haven't seen in a while, and more importantly, more on this channel. At the minimum, a video every Saturday.
Shout out to my guy MJ, man, for real, because I was talking to him over this last 2 weeks. That was a stress. I would be stressed in this situation, so go show him some love, man. Video link in the description.
So subscribe for more. This week has been rough. We hear several claims that Steph Curry has ruined basketball, that the next generation is cooked because now in your local gym, the average 9-year-old is just chucking threes believing they could do it. And technically, they could make the attempt, shoot off the dribble, they just can't actually make the shot. In fact, no one has made it at the rate of Curry. And if the average mortal believes that they could replicate Curry, then imagine NBA players who are infinitely more talented and skilled and would feel that they could replicate Curry given enough practice and reps. However, a lot of these Curry shots are considered bad shots. You're supposed to hold the follow through, right? How about let me turn around mid-shot? Even as
I guess another litmus test when it comes to the generational talent conversation too, I would say is Kobe Bryant. Because I feel like Kobe, and I've seen clips of NBA players, former coaches, saying this about Kobe too, is the fact that physically speaking, obviously 6'6" is way above the average height of a human being, of a man. But outside of being 6'6", physically, there really isn't anything generational about Kobe physically. Kobe Bryant doesn't have a 50-inch vertical the way Michael Jordan and LeBron has. He doesn't have these crazy hands that MJ got. You know what I'm saying? He definitely doesn't have even the generational shooting ability of a guy like Steph Curry. He doesn't have insane quickness. But would you say that Kobe Bryant isn't a generational talent? I would still say so. Because to find, like, we've been looking for the next Kobe for a minute now, and it's just not there. He's just not there. You know, I do think that's one of the things that people love about Kobe is the fact that, you know, physically, even again, he's still 6'6", he's still athletic. Physically, like, he's not out of this world, but what Kobe has become is primarily based off of skill. Would you consider Kobe a generational or not a generational talent?
coaches are baffled at his shot selection, especially 10 years ago. And other players also tried these shots at the time.
Not too much on Kemba.
Well, that went tragically.
Not too much on Kemba.
No.
Oh my goodness, Valentine!
No.
Whoa, no! That is not the shot!
That athleticism Gilbert Arenas references to is for the purpose of being generational, of doing something we haven't seen. But Gilbert also went to describe generational simply by the fact that we knew about them before they entered the league.
When was LeBron called generational? High school. Okay. When did Shaq become generational? Okay.
Yeah.
When was Tiger Woods considered a generational?
Probably about 3 or 4 years old. When
Okay. Wemby.
And Curry was, well, there was a lot of doubt, mainly coming from his size and athleticism.
You have guys like Jeff Teague, Johnny Flynn, Ty Lawson, who we expect to declare for the draft today. Even Drew Holiday at UCLA are seen as guys with more upside. And then you have Steph, who's a spectacular shooter, but not a true point. He's going to measure out at just over 6'1", not at 6'3" that he's listed at. And there's just this sense that he's not the big-time athlete.
It's almost as
Yeah, Curry came at a point in time, bro, where the idea around a point guard and the idea around three-point shooting was so different compared to what it is now. Curry did end up being the outlier in all of this, but y'all need to remember this is a point in NBA history where people did not believe that a three-point shooting team let alone a team being led by a 3-point shooting marksman, could win a championship. This was also a period in time where people were very traditional as to what positions were supposed to be. So you being a scorer at the point guard position but not being a facilitator was viewed as, nah, you going against the mold, this isn't gonna work. People looked highly of a Rondo at this time, looked highly of a Chris Paul, of a Darren Williams. Like Chris Paul and D. Will were viewed as scoring point guards back in the day. I'm gonna keep it a whole stack. They were, you know. The archetype for what a point guard should be was Steve Nash and Jason Kidd, guys who were averaging 13 or 15 points a game, but was dishing out 10 or 12 assists. Steph Curry was just not that. He was the guy that was going to give you 20 to 23 points a game, maybe even 25 points a game. But in terms of the assists, if you get 9 out of him, that's good, you know? And Curry did have a season where he averaged 8.5 assists, which in my opinion is extremely underrated in regards to his whole career. But Curry broke the mold of a lot of narratives that was being upheld at this point in time.
As if players can't accept that Curry is just that good, especially when he's just an average NBA build. Probably because Gilbert himself technically is taller, more athletic, and could shoot. But Curry was quite literally a great rookie, over 17 points a game. He used to take 6 mid-ranges a game in 2012, a lot off the dribble. That's more than Kevin Durant. So he was good at the traditional game as well. He was already on the path to greatness in the traditional sense. It's just that threes weren't considered important when he was getting drafted in his first few years in the league. That attribute wasn't considered something to be generational. But the fact that he changed what the game values is generational, because now that's the attribute we look for. We're seeing several athletes right now who are closer in athleticism to Michael Jordan. But that doesn't mean that Jordan's athleticism wasn't generational, because at that time, there was no athlete that could do what he did. And being that much ahead of the best the world had to offer, that it takes generations to catch up, is quite literally the definition of generational.
When you talk to people about Steph, there's this resentment because he changed the game. He has made a lot of guys had to either change their own games or they're kind of slid out of the league a little bit.
You know, he came in, he's the golden boy. He came in and destroyed record books, won championships, beat LeBron. He's done a lot of things that probably angered other players and other fans. That's why I don't think he gets the respect he deserves as going to be obviously the greatest shooter, but one of the greatest players ever to play the game. And I can see people being bitter from that, not to mention the little light skin thing. And
Matt Barnes might have...
I do find it interesting that, and this is definitely just off of personal experience, whenever I see TikToks of, you know, people asking, not even just NBA players, but upcoming players, like who their favorite player in the league is. I'm not gonna lie, Steph Curry doesn't get brought up a lot. And maybe that's just me and my mindset in this video, but I hear KD a lot. I still hear LeBron. I still hear Kobe. I hear Paul George. But Curry, and maybe this goes to the point of how generational he is, because I feel like a lot of young kids just, hey, I'm not going to be a Steph Curry level shooter, but I see what Paul George is doing, and I can imitate that. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Paul George is 6'9", and I'm not, but I feel like his play style is more attainable than Steph Curry at this point.
Just perfectly explained why old heads still can't get behind Curry. But what about his peers? When Curry was by himself in 2021 without Clay, which he's going to be doing a lot more of, before Wiggins, when his roster was trash, and he had a bit of a shooting slump in 2021, Damian Lillard said this.
Right now, you know, with the injuries that the Warriors been dealing with, you know, and Steph playing with a younger team right now, you know, he's saying that it's tough to get those quality looks right now. You know, it's different than what it's looked like, you know, over the last 4 or 5 years for him. So he's trying to get quality looks and get a clean look so he can make a good one. You know, you don't really have that luxury to just like take one from that deep, you know, just to be taking it.
The thought amongst his peers was that Steph...
It's ironic because this last season, Dame was low-key put in the reverse situation of, okay, you actually got like comp help now, at least offensively. And he had his least efficient season. And I would even like to argue that the reason why is because Dame has been such a first option for such a long period of time. As soon as he becomes a second option, or as soon as he becomes, or as soon as he's on a team where like there's an abundant amount of spacing, he legitimately does not know what to do with it.
Steph can't create his own shot without having other great players distracting the defense. You do realize that Curry was a distraction, right? To the point that defenders ran away from Durant.
What's up, brother?
I'm out, man.
With the ball to guard Curry without the ball.
What happened?
So when they faced off a few weeks later on January 3rd, 2021, Curry created his own shots and dropped 62 points. Can't create a shot. Led the league in scoring that year. The way Curry creates shots is perhaps also replicable, right? He's not ISOing that much. He just runs off screens, gets open, and makes a shot. Apparently,
2021 and 2022 were like big fuck you seasons for Steph Curry and Steph Curry fans, man. Because prior to that, the big narrative with Curry was, can he get shit done without a tremendous amount of help? 2021 was a season, I think, was Draymond I know Clay wasn't there. And I think Draymond wasn't there either. And I understand the Warriors didn't make it to the play-in. Or they might have made it to the... But essentially, like, they didn't have the most successful season. But in terms of a carry job, Curry did that. Curry averaged 31. Curry put up insane numbers. Finished top 5 in MVP voting. And then was still pretty close to getting in the playoffs in the tough Western Conference. And then the season prior, he gets back Clay. He gets back Draymond. And he wins a championship, and that was the ring without KD. That was the ring without a super team. You know, without one of the best rosters in the league. Like, that was a out the mud ring, as a lot of people will call it. So shout out to those 2 years, because I feel like those 2 years really cemented Steph Curry's legacy more than any other year.
Apparently, he's one-dimensional.
And Steph, like, how he plays and how he gets stuff off, it's just kind of one-dimensional at times.
He doesn't ISO as he pull up enough. That comment was made by Mike James in 2022. After Curry just won another championship and Finals MVP, carrying the Warriors team, dropping bucket after bucket in important Finals games. But it's not like these buckets were created simply because of a screen. Curry himself is constantly on the move, elite at coming off screens. And again, if it was so replicable, we'd see more players with that footwork. The ability...
I will say this, man, as much as Bag Twitter loves the skill conversation of all of this, loves offense when it comes to talking about NBA players, I would still consider Steph Curry a part of Bag Twitter, a part of Bag NBA, but I feel like within the realm of players within Bag NBA, I feel like he gets disrespected the most in that category at the very least. Because in that sphere, they are gassing up Kyrie. They are still having conversations about Kyrie or Steph Curry because of the skill argument and all this other stuff. And they kind of view Steph Curry as more of an analytical bag dude than just a pure bag dude. I don't know. They be talking weird over there, but...
to cross people over without the ball on some of the greatest defenders in the league in their prime. I'm sorry I'm getting hyped, but I cannot believe that it's 2024 and players are still acting like Steph Curry isn't generational. Like there's another player that will come that is exactly like Steph. I get where they're coming from, but at this point, honestly, I don't get how you come to that conclusion. I guess the rest of the world in the Olympics is about to see that Curry is not generational, right? Releasing a video on Team USA tomorrow where they win or lose because it needs to be said. The only notification shout goes to Anembi and my girl, Samhita, who's hoping the Warriors don't waste the remaining years of Curry. Appreciate you. Thank you for...
They had their time in the limelight. It's cool. With that being said, shout out to MJ for the video. Let me know if you think Steph Curry is a generational talent. Me personally, I am going to say that he is. With that being said, links to MJ's video will be in the description down below. And I'm going to catch you later, man. Peace.